Anything under God's control is never out of control. Attitude is more important than facts. It is more important than the past, than education, money, circumstances, than failures and success, than what other people think, say, or do. It is more important than appearance, ability, or skill. It will make or break a business, a home, a friendship, an organization. The remarkable thing is I have a choice every day of what my attitude will be. I cannot change my past. I cannot change the actions of others. I cannot change the inevitable. The only thing I can change is attitude. Life is 10% what happens to me and 90% how I react to it. Boldness in the course of a noble fight is worth the risk. If you stand on truth, you'll only regret your timidity later, but you'll never regret being bold. Choose to view life through God's eyes. This will not be easy because it doesn't come naturally to us. We cannot do this on our own. We have to allow God to elevate our vantage point. Start by reading His Word, the Bible, pray and ask God to transform your thinking. Let Him do what you cannot. Ask Him to give you an eternal, divine perspective. Deep, contented joy comes from a place of complete security and confidence in God, even in the midst of trial. Each day of our lives we make deposits in the memory banks of our children. Fortunately, God made all varieties of people with a wide variety of interests and abilities. He has called people of every race and color who have been hurt by life in every manner imaginable. Even the scars of past abuse and injury can be the means of bringing healing to another. What wonderful opportunities to make disciples! God doesn't work on our timetable. He has a plan that He will execute perfectly and for the highest, greatest good of all, and for His ultimate glory. God never asked us to meet life's pressures and demands on our own terms or by relying upon our own strength. Nor did He demand that we win His favor by assembling an impressive portfolio of good deeds. Instead, He invites us to enter His rest. God never calls His people to accomplish anything without promising to supply their every need. God is able to take your life, with all of the heartache, all of the pain, all of the regret, all of the missed opportunities, and use you for His glory. In order to cease our striving, we must transfer our trust away from our own abilities, our own accomplishments, our own strength, and place it on His provision. It's not enough merely to believe there is a God. You must believe in the God who is there. If you allow it, suffering can be the means by which God brings you His greatest blessings. I cannot even imagine where I would be today were it not for that handful of friends who have given me a heart full of joy. Let's face it, friends make life a lot more fun. Joy is a deeply felt contentment that transcends difficult circumstances and derives maximum enjoyment from every good experience. Life is 10% what happens to you and 90% how you react to it. Learning more truth is a poor and cheap substitute for stopping and putting into action the truth already learned. Noise and crowds have a way of siphoning our energy and distracting our attention, making prayer an added chore rather than a comforting relief. Neglecting to ask God's counsel, neglecting to seek God's timing, you step into handle things. And by, you have got a mess on your hands. People do not care how much you know until they know how much you care. Real integrity stays in place whether the test in adversity or prosperity. The lens of fear magnifies the size of uncertainty. The matters we or the world might consider trivial, He cares about and wants to remedy. He longs to relieve our worries and has promised to supply our most fundamental needs. The size of a challenge should never be measured by what we have to offer. It will never be enough. Furthermore, provision is God's responsibility, not ours. We are merely called to commit what we have, even if it's no more than a sack lunch. The devil, darkness, and death may swagger and boast, the pangs of life will sting for a while longer, but don't worry, the forces of evil are breathing their last. Not to worry, He is risen. Today is unique. It has never occurred before, and it will never be repeated. At midnight it will end, quietly, suddenly, totally. forever. But the us between now and then are opportunities with eternal possibilities. Vision is the ability to see God's presence, to perceive God's power, to focus on God's plan in spite of the obstacles. Whatever we do, we must not treat the Great Commission like it's the Great Suggestion. When we panic, we instinctively turn to our own internal resources because we doubt Him. We are all faced with a series of great opportunities brilliantly disguised as impossible situations. When I have a rowing attitude, I look at life humanly. When I have a right attitude, I look at life divinely. When the Lord makes it clear you are to follow Him in this new direction, focus fully on Him and refuse to be distracted by comparisons with others. We cannot change our past, we cannot change the fact that people will act in a certain way. We cannot change the inevitable. The only thing we can do is play on the one string we have, and that is our attitude. I am convinced that life is 10% what happens to me and 90% of how I react to it. And so it is with you, we are in charge of our attitudes.